Alright, back for another video, but this time we're covering an article, not a tweet or a series of tweets. We're covering an article. Now, I've got a question for you guys. How much do you like Deerling and Sawsbuck? Because that's what we're covering in this video. Deerling and Sawsbuck and the possibility of them being in Scarlet and Violet. How would they go about this? How do you think they'd go about this, huh? Well, let's talk about it. In case you're wondering, the article comes from Game Rant. I'm sure you've heard of Game Rant. Don't know much about it. I just know they clearly do Pokemon articles. So, this article comes from Game Rant. Now, how Pokemon Scarlet and Violet could feature Deerling and Sawsbuck's different forms. Scarlet and Violet could feature critters like Deerling and Sawsbuck, which may be trickier to reintroduce because of their forms. How? Good question. Let's check it out. Scarlet and Violet are set to release in less than 4 months on the Switch, and many fans are excited to get their hands on them. Gen 9 games are mysterious at this stage, as only 2 official trailers have been shared thus far, leaving fans in the dark about what sort of features Scarlet and Violet will have, and what monsters will be present. A reoccurring talk since Sword and Shield's Pokédex cut has been about what the plan is for the pocket monsters still missing from the games released on the Switch. Now, here's what I've heard a bunch of people talk about DLC, as far as the ones that won't be in the initial Pokédex. Now, I can personally see them doing a DLC, but I really don't know if they'd go that far. But I think they would profit from it, so I think they should try a DLC, personally. As of now, there are still 60 Pokemon absent from Gen 8. That's a lot. With Pokemon Legends Arceus, bad game, really bad game Legends Arceus. In case you're wondering, I am not a Legends Arceus fan. Tried it out. Legends Arceus is not my thing. I don't like Legends Arceus. In my opinion, it's just not a good game. I don't know why. I just don't like Legends Arceus at all. Anyway, with Pokemon Legends Arceus, including 3 that were previously unavailable on modern consoles, the entire Oshawott evolution line. Among the missing pocket monsters, some that may be more painful than others to reintroduce are Deerling and Sawsbuck, given their unique seasonal forms. Now, I'm not a huge fan of these 2, but I'm sure there are those of you out there that are. So if they do include them, I'm sure that would be something those of you that are a big fan would love. But me, I don't really care about Deerling and Sawsbuck too much, but I'm sure those of you that are a big fan of them would love to see it in Scarlet and Violet, so maybe pray for it. See what happens. Anyway, unlike other missing Pokemon, such as Vivillon and Minior, Deerling and Sawsbuck have forms that strictly depend on seasons, and there are more technical reasons why this wouldn't work as well going forward. Stuff that purely depends on seasons is going to be tough to implement, I would imagine. How Deerling and Sawsbuck's unique forms could find a way into Gen 9. Cute little picture. Oh, look at those things. Look at those things. Oh, they're adorable. Anyway, got distracted by the picture. The problem is that Gen 5 had a season-based mechanic that allowed players to get all 4 forms of Deerling. Winter, spring, summer, and autumn. However, It may be trickier to achieve on the Switch because of how easily players can change the date and time on their consoles to affect their games, which is something that Gen 8 saw often due to changing monster availabilities in the wild areas and max rate battles. The impact of changing the date and time was significant enough that it was used to specifically hunt the best Pokemon or to complete some time gated encounters. This was especially abused with max raid battles, in which players could change the critters available to guarantee special Gigantamax encounters despite these being meant as a rare occurrence. The games after Sword and Shield ended up having some form of protection for this feature, which is likely that Scarlet and Violet will inherit to avoid further issues. Now, that is smart. They've got to implement something to avoid this problem, because people shouldn't be manipulating the time and date on their Switch just to get certain Pokemon. We need some way to fix that problem so people can't just manipulate the date and time on their Switch to get certain Pokemon. So they have to actually get them legitimately. I feel like changing the date and time on your Switch is a form of cheating. I feel like changing the date and time on your Switch is a form of cheating. So I think they should do a protection for it to avoid further problems with that. For example, Brilliant Diamond and Shining Pearl, bleh, about said furl, had a feature that imposed a penalty on changing time and date, which confused players who were trying to get Drifloon before the post-game portion of the remakes. With Gen 9 being fully open world, it could be even trickier to get the forms to appear on a seasonal cycle, as the impact of this system could be massive when there are no loading screens in between areas. Instead, it's more likely Scarlet and Violet will have specially tailored climate in various areas. So maybe they could put different forms of Deerling in different specially tailored climate areas. Like if there's a snowy area, they could put the winter Deerling in that, and so on and so forth. If there's a summery area, they can put the summer Deerling in that one, and so on and so forth, whatever. You know what I mean. Put the different season Deerlings in areas of Scarlet and Violet's region, which is named Paldea, allegedly named Paldea, so that they can appear in those very specific parts of the region, but maybe make it a rare occurrence. I don't know. Anyway, a great way to allow for the return of Deerling and Sawsbuck's seasonal forms would be to include a couple of them in the base game and others in expansions. That might make sense. Placing each form in an adequate climate for its associated season. This is exactly what I was talking about. Put them in the appropriate areas that have the appropriate climate, except what I'm thinking is make it a little bit of a rare occurrence, like a special encounter of sorts. This would make sure that the base game still includes a way to get at least one, while the others being available for collectors further down the line. That or Game Freak could simply add them all to the base game if appropriate. Overall, this would be a good solution for Scarlet and Violet, not to be overly complicated, while still allowing players to catch these unique critters and their seasonal forms. Looks like that's the end of the article, folks. The heck? I don't know what all this stuff down here is, but I'm just going to ignore all that. It's clearly the end of the article, folks. Well, let's go back up here chat about some things. Now, where was it? Here. There are more technical reasons why this wouldn't work well going forward. Unlike other missing Pokemon, such as Vivillon and Minior, Deerling and Sawsbuck have forms that strictly depend on seasons, and there are more technical reasons why this wouldn't work as well going forward. Now let's talk about that for a second. I know there are, technical, reasons where this might not work, but I'm sure they could figure something out, like MacGyver a way to make this work, right? Theoretically. I mean, it's a good idea. But could they really make this work? I don't know. I mean, come on. I have no idea. But anyway, that's it for this video. See you in the next one.